This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2013 Jaguar XJL. Up front is a 3.0 liter supercharged V6 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Jaguar for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't bring many Jaguars to the channel, and so I'm excited to bring you another one, something different than my normal menu of vehicles. However, the second reason is the fact that I've been driving this car for a very short amount of time here this morning, and honestly, I already really like it, and I'm excited to share with you why. Before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 3-liter V6 under the hood that is supercharged. Well, at this time, Jaguar was still using Ford engines. So, remember that Mazda 6 I reviewed a couple of days ago? That has technically the same engine. Now, you take that 3-liter Duratec Ford engine and you give it an aluminum block, dual overhead cams, sequential fuel injection, 4 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing, and one-piece camshafts, strap a supercharger to the top, and then you have this engine. So it's a same seed, different plant kind of situation. Yes, they are related and they share the same architecture technically. However, this is a very different beast. This is elegant. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's respectable. Here's the outside footage of that Mazda 6 with that engine idling. Take a listen. Now listen to the outside of this car. Shot with the same camera, same microphone. Pretty interesting. This is definitely more refined, and it's crazy that this engine even shares any percentage with that clanky Duratec in the Ford and Mazda. This engine puts out about 340 horsepower, which is definitely respectable. However, this was the entry-level engine for the XJ back in 2013. You could also get a V8 that would do upper 300s, and of course some special editions and whatnot. All right, lined up here on the test track. We'll see if there's any noise. I doubt it. Let's put it into dynamic mode. Dynamic mode confirmed. I'm not going to paddle shift it. Don't need to. I'm a grown man. Here we go. Definitely moves. You definitely feel the power. Great. Fantastic. I wish it had a little bit of supercharger whine. I wish it would kind of let me know that it's supercharged. However, I understand that's not the point of this car. It's elegant, smooth, and so that's fine. But just for me personally, I would have liked to have heard just a little bit of supercharger whine. Like I said, paired to it, 8-speed automatic transmission, which was new for this generation of XJ, and I think it's nice, it's quiet, does the job. I'm not complaining at all. Last but not least, of course, the XJ is all-wheel drive. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have digital gauges, something new for this generation of XJ. And on the left, I have my fuel and coolant temperature. I also get my speedometer in the center and tachometer off to the right. The speedometer does something interesting where it only really lights up the numbers around the speed that you're driving. I can also customize this gauge cluster. So while I'm talking, I will show some customization. I really like this part of the XJ's gauge cluster. I like how customizable it is. I've always said this from day one. If you're going to use a screen for your gauge cluster, I think you should be able to highly customize it. And while this isn't highly customizable per se, I think this definitely does a thorough job. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my mode button, volume, skip track, phone options, and around the backside there, you'll see the heated steering wheel. Then on the right, I have my selectors for the gauge cluster, as well as my cruise control settings. The overall steering wheel does feel a little bit dated. The Jaguar logo looks a little small inside of it. However, not the end of the world. And of course, I do have paddle shifters around the back. Off to the left, I have this glorious vent. Has a real nice solid weight to it. Feels fantastic. On the door, we get this nice wood panel as well as a Meridian speaker. 3 different memory seat options. My power mirrors and power windows. Moving into the center, first of all, you'll notice this huge swoop going across the dash of wood, and it says Jaguar. It goes onto the doors as well, like we just mentioned, around that Meridian speaker. And then we get 2 more of these fantastic vents. I feel like these were precision milled just for this car. They have fantastic weight to them. They don't feel cheap at all. They actually feel well oiled, which is insane for a climate control vent. Definitely top tier feeling climate control vents I've ever felt. In the center, I do get an analog clock. Really cool there. It says XJ as well. Really like that. And the whole dash is covered in leather, which adds a very premium feel as well. Before we get to the navigation, off to the right, you'll see this little button. It's actually not a button. You can wave your hand in front of this and it will open the glove box. Now, you have to get pretty dang close to the little sensor in order for it to open, so I don't imagine it would be much of an issue of accidentally opening it, but you lightly touch it, maybe even just get close to touching it, and it opens the glove box, which is pretty unique. But let's come back to the center and talk about the infotainment. It is a touchscreen, and I think it actually keeps up decently well with modern ones. Of course, the styling of it, very, very 9 years old. But I do get navigation, satellite radio, and all those things. Of course, 2013 is before any major car brands really got Apple CarPlay. I believe Ferrari got it late in 2013, possibly 2014. But of course, no CarPlay. I do also have a backup camera. It's not very clear. It's not very good quality. But in 2013, this was 5 years before it was federally mandated to have backup cameras. So any backup camera is better than none. Down below that, we have the lock and unlock buttons, hazard switch, menu, phone, navigation, and eco mode. Then I have my volume switch, mode, eject, and my music and seat buttons. I do get a CD player. When I hit the seat button, I can easily access my heated seat options or cooled seat options, which is fantastic. I also get dual zone climate, very good for 2013. A couple of options where to send it, but not much. Pretty much it. Fan speed is this big dial. Then we come down to the center console. Let's talk about the shifter. Not only is it a rotary dial shifter, but I believe a previous owner stuck this little Jaguar on top. It's super cool. It's absolutely stupid, but it is kind of fun, I guess. I don't know. I believe someone stuck this on. I couldn't find any photos of an XJ with this shifter, so soak it in because I don't know if you'll see another one of these. Then down below that, we do have winter mode and traction control off, and then we also have dynamic mode, which is sport mode, and ASL, as well as a power parking brake. The interesting thing for like dynamic and winter mode is that you actually have to hold the button for probably about a second to a second and a half before it actually will engage. You don't just tap it and then you're in. You actually have to hold it for a second. A little interesting, kind of annoying. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Jaguar XJL from 2013, and of course it fails. I didn't really expect it to pass. However, unfortunately, it still fails. Then I do have this little hidden James Bond style ashtray and cigarette lighter, and a center console with a 12-volt outlet, USB, and aux as well. The seats have Jaguar embossed in the headrest, really like that, but the seats are very comfortable. Like I said, 3 different memory settings, and they are heated and cooled, which is just fantastic. Really, really like that. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, and this being the XJL, that's where you want to be. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, now we're in the back of the 2013 Jaguar XJL, and this is where the L really comes into play. The L stands for long wheelbase, meaning this Jaguar is actually 4.9 inches longer than the standard XJ, and all of that extra space is found between the wheels, meaning the front bumper and rear bumper dimensions are still the same, so you get 5 more inches where you really benefit back here in the rear seats. I do not have any sort of prayer of hitting the front seat. I can stretch out completely and still not touch it, which is fantastic and hard to find even in a modern BMW 5 Series or 7 Series, unless you get those in long wheelbase versions. This is just absolutely fantastic. I get lights up here. I can also close my own sunroof if I want that open or close, depending. I do get a center console back here. Jeez, this thing is chunky. We can open a compartment here, open a compartment there. This has 2 cup holders. Really, really like that. Down here, I have 2 more of those very high quality vents. I have dual zone climate for the rear. So not only can the driver and passenger pick their own climate controls, but now either side rear occupants can pick their own climate controls. Fantastic. I also have heated and ventilated seats back here as well. This is where you want to be. This is obscenely cool, and I love it. This is just such a cool experience. Oh, I almost missed. I do have my own vanity mirror, so when I'm on my way to an important business meeting, I can check myself out. However, I can't pick at what angle they are. So right now I'm just kind of staring at my neck, which doesn't really help me out all that much. But I get that. That's so cool. God, being back here is just fantastic. I do get a little ashtray in the door too, and a Meridian speaker. I mean, this is the best. Oh, this is so good. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the XJL trunk popper here, and it actually will raise the trunk as well, which is really, really cool. You see these awesome power struts, which is fantastic. Back here, not anything too crazy. That's the front plate bracket that would normally go on this. Can pull this up here. We do get a space saver spare, and that's actually where your battery's found. Kind of interesting back here. Other than that, nothing too crazy about the XJL's trunk. It is very spacious for a sedan like this, which is fantastic. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of love it, kind of hate it. This is finished in rhodium silver metallic, which I think is a nice color, and at the back, the taillights are known as the cat's claws for this generation of XJ, which is pretty unique. It definitely gives it a signature look. I think the XJL looks very regal, very presentable, very monumental, and I like that out of a Jaguar. I believe, now I'm an American, so be easy on me, but I believe the royal family in Britain uses these as their sort of official car. Of course, heavily armored versions, but XJLs nevertheless. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think of the XJL, the extended, the almost 5-inch longer XJ? Well, let's get the bad things out of the way. There is one single issue I've found with this XJ, and that is the blind spot monitoring. If so much as a leaf falls behind me, the blind spot monitoring comes on. It will notify me that there's something in my blind spot. It's very, very touchy. But let's talk about the goods, because there are plenty. I like the V6 supercharged power. I wish it had a little bit more fanfare, but I like the smooth elegantness of it. I cannot even believe that it has even ever been mentioned next to the 3-liter Duratec, let alone share some architecture with it. I really, really love this interior. I think it's aged really well, not just material-wise. This only has 33,000 miles on it. Can't really say that this is a high-mileage vehicle. It's not. It's 9 years old, but not high mileage. But the actual overall design of it, I think with an updated screen, with more modern graphics, this car could definitely pass as a 2020. And I think that's impressive. I love these climate control vents. I know I rarely talk about climate control vents, but just the weight and how solid they are, really, really fantastic. And of course, that analog clock and the wood trim that goes along the dash onto the doors really finishes off that feeling of elegance and luxury. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with this car. I've never really been over the moon about Jaguars, but this is getting there. I'm rather smitten about this car. I don't know. Something about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their XJL. This is one of their used vehicles. They have tons of cool and interesting used vehicles on the lot at all times. They also, of course, have brand new Toyotas for you to purchase. I highly recommend checking them out. We've been working together for a long, long time, and they have been nothing but the best. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.